Hello everyone and welcome back to the very strong Riga Interzonal tournament of 1979. We've seen the two games Tal played in the first two rounds. His second game win with the black pieces against Lev Polugaevsky is a true vintage Tal masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, do check it out. It will be the first link in the description below, and I urge you to check that one out before watching this. But this game also very interesting because here Tal sort of faces his student Oleg Romanishin, who is a grandmaster. He got his grandmaster title in 1976 already. Could be considered a seasoned grandmaster because in those days, when you were, I think, when you were around the level of international master, you were considered an improver at chess, and you were assigned a grandmaster to take you on your journey and really, achieve something. So Tal was the one that was assigned to Oleg, and I imagine it. Influenced his play quite a lot. But even in his some of the tournaments that he played, he got brilliant results. For example, 5 years ago, when he was still an international master in the very strong USSR Championship, he got second shared place with Boris Gulko, Mikhail Tal, and Rafael Vaganian. So they have faced each other before. So that's something that you should know before checking out this game, as it probably influenced Oleg's play quite a lot. So let's check it out and see what is up with this game. And if I was very interested in this, so I had to check. Oleg Romanishin is still alive. He's 71 years old and he's still an active chess player. Like even last year, he played the Reykjavik Open and he got a very nice result. I think in 2021 and 2020 he played even more tournaments. In 2022, I've only found one tournament. So incredible, but yeah, still an active chess player. I didn't find any games from 2023, but you know the year is still young. So let's check it out. Tal opens with pawn to e4. We have pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and Tal goes for the Ruy Lopez. We have bishop to b5, a6. Oleg goes for the Morphy's defense, bishop a4, knight to f6, and now castles. We have bishop to e7, rook to e1, and b5, bishop to b3, and pawn to d6. So nothing new here. We've seen this many times. c3, castles with h3, and now bishop to b7. Usually here you will see knight to a5 or knight to b8, the rare variation, but here we have bishop to b7, and now d4 by Tal. We have rook to e8, making room for the bishop on f8, knight b to d2, we have bishop to f8, and pawn to a3. So just nicely developing pieces. Putting pawns on optimal squares, h6 with bishop to c2, and now knight to b8. You need to move your knight in order to push your c pawn to attack white center. Pawn to b4 by Tal, guarding that c5 square, and now knight b to d7. Again, preparing c5. We have bishop to b2, and now pawn to c5. We have b captures on c5, d captures on c5, and now Tal plays d captures on e5. And there are some games that have reached this position, and you could consider capturing on e5. It's perfectly fine. You could play the knight to h7 and then bring it to g5. Oleg decides to go for knight to h5. And okay, we have c4 by Tal. He wants to open up his dark square bishop. Knight to f4 now, with some ideas of bringing the queen into the game. If the knight ever moves, you will be able to play queen g5, threaten checkmate. And here Tal played c captures on b5. And it is now, as of move 19, that this position has never been reached again. Okay, Oleg recaptures, a captures on b5, and Tal plays a4. He wants to trade here, trade off the rooks, and then continue his play on the king side and in the center. We have queen to b6 by Oleg, and now a captures on b5. So Tal grabs a pawn, and Oleg has a decision to make. Does he want to capture back on b5, or does he want to go queen g6 and threaten checkmate? So you could capture, let's say queen captures on b5, Tal would play rook to b1, threaten some discoveries here, and after the queen moves, let's say bishop b3, Tal would position his bishops very nicely here, and the game continues. It's a fine position for both. White should be a little bit better. However, Oleg wanted more from the position. He played queen to g6. Now he threatens checkmate on g2. First he played rook 8 to d8, defends the knight and also aligns the rook nicely with the queen. Tal played bishop to c3 and only now queen to g6. Threatening checkmate. We have knight to h4, now going after the queen, and also the knight defends checkmate on g2, and now queen to g5. And okay, now you're threatening knight captures on h3, so Tal plays queen to g4. He just defends, and okay, how do you continue this? Oleg captures on g4, we have h captures on g4, and now he just wins back material. Knight captures on e5, but Tal goes rook to a7, and now if you assess the position, Tal is up a pawn. He has a passed b pawn, and he has a doubled g pawn. So it's not spectacular, but he's definitely better here. Also, he has a beautiful bishop pair. Oleg also has a bishop pair, although not as operational, and Tal has a very active rook on a7. Plus that passed pawn on b5 shouldn't be should be very difficult to actually hold this with black, but it should be possible. So here, bishop to c8. Oleg moves the bishop, goes after the g pawn, and now bishop to b3, going after the f7 pawn. So he needs to defend. Rook to d7, and now Tal plays b6. And here we reach the first pause the video moment. Here, rook to b7 is played. Of course, you don't want to capture. If you capture, then the pawn is already on a7. And while it's possible to play this, let's say bishop b7, you defend here. Now bishop captures on e5, rook captures, and the game continues. But basically, you're going to move the bishop, put the rook on b1, attack the bishop. Once the bishop moves, probably bring the rook all the way to b8, and that's an easily winning endgame for Tal. So instead, rook to b7 was played by Oleg, and now feel free to pause the video and try to find the absolute cleanest way to utilize your advantage while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on solving this very nice endgame trickery. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is bishop captures on e5, and it's all pretty much forced, so you don't really have a lot of choice here. Rook captures on e5, and now knight to c4. You could also kick away the knight from f4 first with g3, but you don't have to do it. Knight to c4 attacks the rook, and now the problem is if the rook goes all the way back, you will play knight to f5, and now the knight is coming to d6, and that's pretty much it. So instead, rook to e7 was played, but now knight to d6, attacking the rook and the bishop. So rook captures on a7, b captures on a7, and the rook captures on a7. The problem is you have to decide what to give. The bishop here is hanging, and also a8 queen is coming. So you have to stop one of those threats, and bringing a queen into the game is a much greater threat. So here rook captures on a7, and knight captures on c8. And now Tal is up a full piece, but Oleg thought that maybe he could win it back. He played rook to c7. Now Tal plays knight to b6. He gets the knight out of harm's way, and now rook to b7. So it seems Oleg will win back the piece, but it only seems that way. So feel free to pause the video for the last time and win the game for Tal while I give you a couple of seconds. There's only one way to do it. Have at it. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on always finding the most precise maneuver in the endgame. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook to b1. So congratulations to everyone who found this. The point is now, if black captures the knight, you will play bishop captures on f7 with check, which usually isn't a great idea, giving two pieces for the rook. But remember, you were up a piece. So now after king captures and rook captures, you're going to be up the exchange, up a pawn, and easily winning. You have a rook for a bishop. So of course, that wasn't played. I mean, rook to b1 was played, but now not rook captures on b6 here. Oleg tried pawn to c4, and now comes knight captures on c4. Pawn to c4 is a very tricky idea, because if Tal actually captures with the bishop, then comes bishop to c5, and now, okay, you're gonna have to really work for your meal. You're gonna have to play something like rook to b5, then bishop captures on b6, and you have to play something like knight to f5, and you have to play a game. It's very unclear if you'll be able to win this. So instead, Tal played knight captures on c4, and now it's just completely winning. Knight to e2 check, king to f1, knight to c3 attacking Tal's rook on b1, but Tal just played rook to b2, and he was in this position on move 38 that Oleg Romanishin resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Once you capture the pawn, let's say knight captures on e4, you're just gonna offer a rook trade, put your pieces on optimal squares, and well, black will have to face the reality that he is down a full piece, he's down a knight, and there's no way to compensate for that. Brilliant victory by Tal against his student Oleg Romanishin, and out of nowhere, in the first 3 rounds, Tal is 3 out of 3. First round victory was a great one. He even offered a draw in that one, but his opponent declined. Then, like I said, if you haven't seen his second game round victory against Lev Polugaevsky, first link in the description below. It's, I mean, absolute masterclass of how to properly attack with black. Do check it out, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the rest of the tournament. Tal is definitely having one of the best tournaments of his life. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank London System, Kave Halikmadi, Marco Steele, Stefan Connell, and Ravishing Reptiles YouTube for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day. And I just remembered Ravishing Reptiles asked me via email what is up with the fat bird on my channel here. It's actually a tribute to one of the former top contributors to the channel who was involved with a Square Enix project. He was working on on a Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 15. I don't know if you know it, and that's why I thought as a tribute I'd put a chocobo there. And this is a type of chocobo, a fat chocobo, one of the nicest birds I like from Final Fantasy 7. I don't know, maybe it's they have them in other Final Fantasies. I know a fat chocobo from Final Fantasy 7, so that's why there's a bird there, in case you were wondering. Yeah, thank you all. I will see you soon. Have an excellent rest of your day.